Hello and welcome to TransByDef. My name is Morgan Fay, and this week we ask, gender and sexuality, are they different? So the short answer is yes. We're talking about two totally different things, and one does not necessarily mean anything to do with the other, but I do believe that they're interconnected. First, let's talk about gender and exactly what we mean. When it comes to gender, there's actually quite a different amount of things that can be actually discussed under that same topic. One is your gender, your physical gender, also called a natal gender. I like to use the term phenotype, which means what kind of body you were born with, male, female, ambiguous, something in between. So your phenotype is one kind of gender, and for 99.7% of people, that pretty much matches up with everything else. But for the other 0.3%, there's some disconnect. So other aspects of gender is your gender identity. This is who you identify as. And for people who aren't trans, this can be a really hard thing to understand. But let's give an example using the plot line of 100 bad movies and a few decent ones. Let's say that you're a woman, you identify as a female, everything is fine, and then you go to bed one night, and when you wake up in the morning, you have a male body. When you look over in the mirror, you don't go, I guess I'm a guy now, so that's cool, and you go out and just accept that. No, because who you are hasn't changed. You're still a woman, and now the body doesn't match, and that's the dysphoria that we talk about our identities and who we are inside not matching with what is presented on the outside. So like any movie that follows that plot line, you're going to do what you can in order to get the body which is yours, which belongs to you, which matches your identity. In those movies you get to break a curse or you get to find some sort of artifact, but for us it's a much longer road. But that's what gender identity is, and that's what it means when it doesn't match who you are on the outside, your physical, your phenotype. Then there's also presentation, and this is basically how you present to the world. It is an expression of who you are inside, and it's also a cue to the social world on how you want to be treated, on who you identify as, so how you should be interacted with. Just because someone is presenting one way doesn't necessarily mean they're not trans. For instance, for the over 30 plus years that I presented and as a male didn't mean that I didn't identify as female. It was just what I was stuck with at the time, but it still made me trans because I still identified as female even though I presented and had a phenotype that was male. Then there's other aspects such as your signed gender. This is what's put on your birth certificate. Basically, the doctor says penis male, no penis female, and your legal gender. This is what's on your documents. So there's a few parts of gender, but the most important parts is your gender identity, and that's who you are. And hopefully for most people out there, it does match the phenotype that you were born with. But for us, unfortunately, it doesn't, so we have to take steps to make that change. We don't wake up in the mornings, our bodies change. Instead, we wake up during childhood realizing that something's not right. And some of us take a very long time before we get around to doing something, and fortunately, there's a few of us that never actually get to experience what it is to have that outside match who we are on the inside. Then there's sexuality. Sexuality generally refers to who you're attracted to. Heterosexual, you're attracted to the opposite gender. Homosexual, attracted to the same gender. Bisexual or pansexual, your attraction isn't based on gender. There's also asexual, which means that you don't have a sexual drive the way that most people do, that you don't really have an attraction. But sexuality isn't just about attraction. Sexuality is also, it's another part of who you are, it's another part of your identity. And while the normal belief amongst the LGBT community is that your sexuality is something that you're born with and that it doesn't change throughout life, that doesn't seem to be the case with a lot of people who are trans. I do believe that your sexuality does have a lot to play with your gender, particularly your hormones. A lot of us who do go under hormone therapy, we experience a change or a shift in our sexuality. I experienced it myself. And I think this has to do with all of us have two very distinct types of sexuality. One is a more masculine kind of sexuality. It's more physical. It's more it's more robust. It's more demanding. And then there's a feminine side, which is our attraction based on an emotional level, not necessarily a physical level. And these different sexualities, which one is dominant has a lot to do with your hormone makeup. Prior to HRT, prior to taking hormones, my male sexuality that became dominant whenever it became aroused, and for me it was actually very disconcerting because it felt very alien. It was not part of my identity. It was not part of the way my makeup normally was. So it was like almost an outside presence taking over. And that would change what I was attracted to. It would change the kind of things I was interested in. So it was definitely a change in mindset that when that would actually take over, and it would dominate. It would completely overshadow that emotional sexuality that I had. Now that I'm on HRT and my testosterone levels are pretty much zeroed out, that male sexuality isn't there anymore. So it's only that softer, that emotional sexuality, that emotional attraction which exists. And my attraction there is very different than what it was on that physical side, on that more aggressive side. So I have experienced a change in sexuality as my hormone makeups have changed from one gender to another. Previously I was only attracted to women. Now I still have a primary attraction to feminine characteristics, but I'm certainly not just attracted to women anymore. So I think that there can be a change, and I think that the change has to do with those hormones that make up the chemical software that runs in our minds. So in that way, gender and your sexuality are intertwined, are intertangled. So it's not a simple answer. Unfortunately, when we ask questions such as this one, is gender and sexuality, are they different? We're looking for a simple answer, a yes or a no. But things rarely in life are that simple, especially when humans are involved. So it's much more complex than that. And it's also a much more subtle thing than a simple yes or no. It's something that it has taken me time to kind of figure out exactly where I stand on things and how things have changed for me. I don't think that it's a change in actually who I'm attracted to. It's rather a change in my sexual drives and which one is more dominant than the other. And it's a change in also which sexual drive I can listen to now, rather than having that previous male sexuality kind of just overpowering everything else. It's also now, since HRT, since my testosterone is pretty much zeroed out, and my that physical, that masculine sexual drive is gone. It's a lot more comfortable for me. Like I said, it was something that felt like an outside influence, almost like a possession, and it was something that would bother me quite a bit. So I don't have that anymore, and that's probably one of the biggest reliefs for going under HRT and having a new hormone makeup that matches my identity. So I think that pretty much covers it for my views on where gender and sexuality intertwine and meet, and where they're different. So hopefully I will see you next week here on TransByDef. Have a good day.